Welcome back, and today we're going to take a look at the Kings of War Champions Halfling Company box, Taran Bligh.
Taran Bligh. A born inventor, Taran could always be found tinkering with his latest creation. However, after spending a life making farming equipment like the steam-powered hammer or the mega juicer, Taran wants to follow in the footsteps of his idols, Percival Arbuckle and Paddy Bobart. He wants to create something that will help protect the Shires and must now test the Iron Crusher in battle. Hetrenberg Dogs. Braves. The Hetrenberg Dogs are halfling mercenaries available for hire to the highest bidder. While Taran may think the dogs have joined him to test the effectiveness of his latest weapon out of their own interests, they have actually been paid by his wealthy uncle, Jared Bligh. The Braves are often those recruits that have just joined the Dogs and need to earn their stripes before progressing through the ranks. Hetrenberg Dogs. Rifles. Following the split between Rodea and the Shires, many halflings were swept up into the violent skirmishes between humans and Shire folk. Although some want to continue to protect the Shire's borders, others have used their military training to earn a wage as a gun for hire. The Dogs have enough money to buy the best weapons halflings can buy, and, as a result, guard them closely during battle. Hetrenberg Dogs, the 10th Detachment, Lancers. Although the 10th Detachment is made up of those Lancers that have recently joined the unit, their skill in battle should not be disputed. Keen to prove their abilities to Aaron Trosbert, they hit the enemy hard and fast. If they manage to show their effectiveness in battle, there's a chance they'll be promoted through the ranks of the Dogs and potentially earn more coin along the way. Hetrenberg Dogs, 5th Detachment, Lancers. The 5th Detachment of Hetrenberg Dogs, Lancers, is led by Aaron Trosbert, a former captain of the Hodenberg Guard and an old friend of Taran's rich uncle. His friendship is partly why the Dogs agreed to accompany Taran on his potentially doomed quest. However, despite their closeness, Aaron's goodwill is being put to the test by Taran's inventions, and there's the risk even money won't help overcome his misgivings.
If you played Kings of War before, or you've played Kings of War Champions before, you'll know that the Halfling army is a horde army. And this is something new to the Champions box sets. This one here has 5 units. Normally your units, you have 3 fully based large units, plus 1 hero on a 50 millimeter base. With this box, you have 4 large units and 1 hero on a 50 millimeter base. I imagine this is their idea behind putting a horde army into Champions, having an extra base, because halflings are having an extra unit, but halflings are typically a horde army on the table. So I can see them handling the Ratkin and other horde armies like that in the same manner for Champions. This army here, or this company box, focuses on rallying, where you get +1 to your nerve with everybody within 6 inches. Also, the hero has its own special rule where everyone within 9 inches of, or anyone within 9 inches of the hero gets to reroll 1s when they're doing damage in melee. He also has a shooting attack, which is great. The base here has the rifles. The Braves, the Halfling Braves, have the rifles, and the rifles are just like the crossbows, except they don't have Deadeye with them. So the crossbows have Deadeye. The rifles just have the normal piercing 1 and the damage to roll. So, but, you know, again, also their armor isn't that great. So with having those 5 units, I can see how somebody would have a harder time with only 4 units on the table, managing 5 units across from them. But I imagine that the halflings are kind of designed to run around the table and catch objectives with one of their units and pitting everyone else up against another unit. So we'll see what they like on the table. I like them. I haven't played with them or against them yet, but I really do like them. And I think that's something new that they've added to Champions. It's pretty great having 5 units on the table to fight against, even though they're not as, you know, heavy duty as heavy infantry, like the knights for the Basileans, they're pretty good. The 2 units of cavalry, 1 unit shooting, and 1 unit with hand weapon shields, that's pretty good force to put up a fight up against. Not to mention the fact that the hero in this box is my favorite one out of all the heroes and champions in Kings of War Champions. I really love the model. Let's go take a look at what's in the box. So the Kings of War Champions box, you get 2 of these big bags of sprues. Now, these can be made with 10 halflings riding on dogs and 10 hand weapon shield, hand weapon spear, or riflemen out of each one of these bags. You get a lot in these sprues. So 10 dog riders and 10 men with either hand weapon shields, spears, rifles. And I believe they even have the arrows in here. But no, it's just rifles. Just rifles. No bowmen, just rifles. So 2 big bags of those. And that way you can create your 5 bases, or your 4 bases, 2 with the hand weapon shield guys and 2 with the cavalry. So you get the big bases here. These right here are for your cavalry, your guys on dogs, which is great. And you get the 2 troop bases right here. You also get an instructional guide on how to build them, which they've been doing these in all their boxes, their Champions boxes, which is fantastic. If you are a Kings of War fan or a fan of Mantic Games, they haven't had these in the past. So this is pretty great. If you get all the boxes, you'll know how to build every single one of them without question. And you also get the hero. And this is my favorite of the Champions models. I love this, that it's moving like a little lawnmower and he's just flying in the wind. This is one of my favorite miniatures. I love it. I think it's fantastic. And the resin is perfect. It's just perfection. This Mastercraft resin, like I've said in my other videos, is my absolute favorite. Now, breaking down this into parts, this armature here fits into this big roller. That's 2 pieces. Then this front piece fits nicely onto this one. And just like their old models that they had with the plastic resin that had the notches, this has a circle, that side has a square, so there's no confusion of where it goes. Now, this guy hanging out here, he's another piece. He sticks in there by his hands. And these 2 stacks right here are another piece as well, along with these 2 stacks, this middle piece here. So you have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces plus the base. Really easy to put together, really nice, beautiful looking model. And I'm super excited about painting this up. I can't wait. As a matter of fact, I'm pushing aside my Northern Alliance and probably going to be painting the halflings because there's 5 units in it. There's 5 other units besides the hero. So that's exciting. So taking a look at everything else, you get cards. And normally you only get 4, but this one you get 5. You get the Hetrenberg Dogs, 5th Detachment Lancers, and you also get the 10th Detachment. So 2 different cards for 2 different units of cav in this game. And they're both exactly the same, except the Lancers have spears, and these guys have spears. The Lancers have elite, and this one has crushing strength. So a little bit different. Their melee is 4+, their defense is 4+, so their armor and their melee is pretty good. For cav, and any stretch of the imagination in Champions is pretty great. But having that elite, I think, is much better than crushing strength in my mind. But they're both kitted out exactly the same with their spears. So you'll have to do a little modeling to tell the difference between one and the other. So that's those. Now you have 2 units of these guys here on foot. And the Braves are the ones that have the swords and shields or hammers, and they get Pathfinder. So at the double movements in the woods and difficult terrain or through, they're treated like open ground. So Pathfinder units are not hindered when they charge through or ending over woods or difficult terrain. So that's pretty good, but this is the rallying thing that all of them have. Every single one of them have this rallying for each other friendly unit within 6 inches of this unit. Its nerve is increased by 1. So their nerve is pretty low. And that's one thing about them. Their nerve is a 12+. That's on the lower spectrum of things, but they have more units, and that rallying, the more guys are there, the more nerve they have. So then you have the rifle guys. And I said this exactly at the beginning. They have rallying. They have the rifles. They're just like the crossbows, same piercing 1 and 12 inches range, except these guys do not have Deadeye like the crossbowmen for the Basileans have. And they shoot on a 5+, which isn't great, but it's good enough. Their defense is a 4+. They get 8 attacks. So it's kind of like having crossbows, but just one little extra thing they don't have, which is the Deadeye. And then we get to Taran Bligh. This bad boy, I love this model. Like I said, he has no half measure, so whenever a friendly unit is within 9 inches of this unit rolls the damage when making a melee attack, it must re-roll the dice that scored a natural and modified 1. So re-rolling damage in melee, anybody within 9 inches of him, which is pretty much going to be everybody for the most part. Well, can be. He's got crushing strength. He has inspiring, of course, Strider as well, so this unit's charge is not hindered when charging through or ending charge on or difficult or terrain or obstacles. And he has an unpredictable speed. This is something new for champions. It's D3 plus 4. So before you give him a movement order, you got to roll the dice and determine how fast he's going to go. So he's not very fast, but having this re-rolling once damage, the inspiring, the crushing strength, of course, and the Strider, it could happen. So you could get into melee, or you couldn't get into melee because it has an unpredictable speed. So you got faction orders too. So for the Shire, all hits caused with melee attacks from this unit have a +1 modifier when rolling for damage until the end of the round. So there's a theme there. We got Hearty Snack. So if the unit suffers a rout result, the opponent must re-roll the nerve test, and the second result stands. It's kind of like having inspiring, just giving it to them just in case they're outside of inspiring range of the hero. And the Poacher's Traps. Melee attacks against target's units front suffer an additional -1 to hit until the end of the round. So these faction orders will definitely help these guys, and the combinations that you use them in, we'll figure out when we play. So there you go. That is the Taran Bligh company box for the Halflings. After opening it, I think I have my new favorite army to play in Champions. So, and I also think that this is where, all the horde armies are going to go, where you're going to have a hero like this guy and 4 extra units. So there'll be 5 on the table instead of just 4. That's all I've got. Ta-ta!